Welcome to another Triathlon podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another Triathlon podcast. Enjoy the ride.
We are back with another Triathlon podcast brought to you by Mana Endurance, and we are so excited to have a special guest today. We have pro-triathlete Lara Gruden coming to join us to tell us a little bit about her journey in the sport so far, how her life has changed now that she's become a mom, and how she kind of balances being a mom, training, potentially getting back into the pro racing. We'll find out what her postpartum plans are. And then she has some insight into the Miami course, which will be raced over the T100 this weekend. So we'll get her thoughts and insights on how that race might go down and learn a little bit more about the course. But first, we will say hi. Laura, how are you doing? We're so happy to have you join us today.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited. I always love talking about triathlon and my journey as a mom and balancing everything. So I'm excited to share some stories.
Perfect, because we like to talk triathlon all the time. We geek out on it endlessly. And of course, as always, we have Josh here as well, co-host, so we will have some fun chatting. But why don't we start off with, why don't you tell us, how did you get into this crazy sport? How'd you find it?
Oh gosh. Okay, so I did some running and swimming in high school, but I never was I didn't really know about the sport of triathlon, to be honest, until I went to the University of Arizona. And I was working at a physical therapy clinic, Proactive, here in Tucson, just doing hours for school. And one of the trainers there, he was like, "Hey, you should do a triathlon." And I was like, "Oh, that's so dumb. I'm not doing that. They wear funny clothes. Like, I don't even have a bike. No way." And he's like, "Yeah, but you're out running and like you swim and it's easy to do the biking." And I'm like, no. So then I joined this cycling team for kids that was also out of our clinic. And the guy asked me to help coach. It's like a nonprofit organization, and they basically help about 30 kids to ride the Tour de Tucson, the short distance.
Cool.
And I was like, "I really don't know how to ride a bike." And the guy's like, "No problem. Like, it'll be no problem." And I'm like, "Okay." So I started doing that. And then the trainer comes back and he's like, "Laura, like, you're riding a bike now. I mean, you got to try the triathlon." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." So we have one here in Oro Valley, and jumped in, didn't even know what I was doing. And I won overall female. And I was like, that's cool. Like, that's kind of fun. And the guy's like, "Okay, there's another one an hour away if you want to try next month." And I was like, "Okay, like, that'd be fun." And so I went and did that race, and I won again. And I was like, "Oh, okay, like, this is actually kind of cool." And I guess it just kind of took off from there. I mean, before triathlon, I was doing boxing. Like, when I was in college, I was down at the south side of Tucson, and I was trained by this guy. His name was Kiyoshi, and he's like this Native American guy. And, more went there for like self-defense and stuff like that. But I kind of got into boxing a little bit. And then my parents were like, "Can you get a new sport? Because, you're coming home with a black eye. Like, come on, Lara." And I'm like, "Okay." So yeah, just one thing led to the next. And then there I was in triathlon. And now I'm like, "Oh, I love it."
What was that first bike that you had? Was it just a little simple road bike and hopping into a triathlon?
Oh, it was the craziest thing. So somebody donated a bike to the program, and the coach was like, "Oh, this bike's too big for the kids. You can use it." It was definitely too small. It was like a Diamondback. And I was afraid to even put clip-on pedals. So we had just those pedals that are normal that you just put your foot on. And then I was like, "Okay, can we just put one pedal that's a clip-on?" And he's like, "No, just put both." But, we made it very loose and just kind of rode that bike for, I would say, maybe 7 months or 8 months. I mean, it was so crazy. So our clinic got broken into, and we kept the bikes there, and they actually stole my bike And I was so mad because I'm like, oh, I'm finally like in this, you know, I'm doing the triathlon. And when I was driving to work, I saw the guy with my bike, like on the
No.
side of the street. Yes, it was crazy. So I'm like in this truck. And so I like pull over to the side and I'm like, that's my bike. And the guy's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yes, it has my name on it. Cause I had this sticker that had like my name. And he was like kind of a like scummy, you know, drug addict type guy. And he was like, oh, like, okay, well, I just bought this bike off someone else. And I was like, I don't care. That's my bike. And he just kind of like let me take the bike. So I show up at the clinic and the cops are like, how do you have your bike? I'm like, I don't know. You guys are here. Like, I'm out catching criminals, you know,
Doing their
what's
job
up?
for them.
Yeah. I was so determined. Oh, it was the craziest story, but yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't find the other bikes, but yeah.
Man, that took some guts to go approach them in there too and just say, no,
I
that's my
know.
bike. But we
Yeah, my
get so
parents were like,
tired.
yeah, they're like, don't do that. He could have a gun, you know. I was like, I don't know, whatever. You know, in the moment, you're just like, oh, there's my bike. But what was crazy is the two other bikes that I got stolen were like $10,000 bikes. I mean, they were these really nice bikes, and mine's like, I don't know, $500. And I was the only one that got my bike back. Yeah. So,
Well done. Well, so how did you go from just trying it out on a bike that was handed down to deciding to become a professional triathlete? Like, where did that transition happen?
so I think it was after the first race, the Oro Valley race, you get this email from USA Triathlon, and it's like, you qualified for USA Nationals. And I was like, whoa, that's so cool. Like, because, you know, I didn't know anything about it. And it says like, I think, what is it, the top 10% or something? I can't remember, but I was just like, wow, this is really awesome. I mean, this must be like really hard to qualify for. And I think it is still pretty hard, but not really. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I don't know, 50-50. So I got like all excited seeing that email. And then I kept doing a couple more races. And to be honest, you really just get hooked. I mean, and I've heard people say that. They're like, oh, once you do it, you know, you're totally hooked. And so I guess that's just kind of what happened with me. And you start meeting people, and it really becomes this like community that you become part of. And, you know, when you're graduating college, especially in Tucson, there's not really like a young crowd here. And I didn't really know what I was going to do yet after college. First I wanted to be a lawyer, then physical therapy, and then none of that sounded good. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just try this for a little bit. And
Just
yeah, it
become a
just kind of
professional
took off from. I know, yeah. I
I love
shouldn't
it.
say it like that, but yes, that's kind of what happened.
What kind of racing were you doing early on in your career? A lot of like the short distance races.
Yeah,
And
all short distance until COVID happened. And then, because I was my first year actually as a pro, I did the ITU circuit. So, but then COVID hit, and it was just really hard to travel, and things were all complicated. And they said, you know, they had like some 70.3s here in the United States, and I was like, okay, I guess maybe I'll try that for now, and then I can go back to ITU. But I mean, ITU was very hard for me. I was not a front pack swimmer at all, and I was always chasing from the back, and it just kind of, I loved the drafting, you know, because it's just such different tactics, and I loved being on my road bike. So I had to transition from a road bike to the TT bike. And then once I got more comfortable with the TT bike, you know, I started just doing the 70.3s, and then I kind of just stuck with that distance. But I still really, if I could be a better swimmer, in the ITU, I love that racing. I mean, that was just fun, you know. It's different. It's more, you're like communicating with people, and, you know, on the wheel and group rides, and yeah, I don't know.
A lot more tactics and kind of racing compared to
Yeah,
70 groups can be a little bit more solo.
73, I mean, it can really be a little, solo
Yeah.
and just kind of boring. You're like, okay. And me, I mean, I'm not like a top athlete, so it's not, you know, I think it's kind of different because you got the motos and cameras up there. I'm more like mid pack, sometimes even in the back. And so I mean, you got like age group guys coming past you and you're like, oh yeah, so I don't know, but I did it because like, I just enjoy it. Like, it's fun and it excites me and I love training, and especially being with Sam, like, we get really fired up talking about it all the time. And the community here in Tucson is amazing. I mean, a lot of people now are coming here, especially for the winter time. I know you were here, Josh, so it's just, yeah.
It's an awesome area. I said after I got back from there, it's like, if I didn't have a 16-year-old and she was off in college somewhere, or if we didn't have our family all in this area, it would be 100%. It's just, you come out your door and it's like all you want to do is spend the rest of the day outside and do whatever.
Totally.
Get on your bike.
Where
and
did you stay?
Go to the pool. I was in like the Mesa area, and did a lot of training around Arizona State.
Okay. So you're up like Phoenix more.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to come to Tucson next time. I'm telling you, you will fall in love with it here.
We might have a trip later in the year planned, so we'll see.
Okay. Keep us posted.
That would be awesome. It's the one time I was supposed to go to Tucson. It was for a training camp, and unfortunately, it was during that COVID time, and tested positive for the pre-flight travel because I'm up in Canada, and I was just like, "Oh, come on!"
Gosh.
Definitely sounds like a bit of a training community over there, which is just awesome to see.
Oh, I mean, it's great. We have like Mount Lemon, and the tracks are all open here, and the roads. I mean, it's beautiful. Especially, we live up in Oro Valley, but I mean, it's right above Tucson, and it's awesome. It really is a great community.
The traffic is because there's so many triathletes on the road.
I know, right? Pretty much. They're like, but it's cool because like a lot of the world road cycling teams come and they travel here during the wintertime too. And so like a really big training ride on Saturdays is the shootout. And, you see like these top cyclists. Yeah. I mean, I don't go. I mean, there's like one girl that can make the main shootout, but then, they have different levels and you can go to those. But like the main one, I mean, you got like these top tour riders come in and then top triathletes going out there, and it's just fun.
Yeah, and I'm sure no egos involved, so there's no half-wheeling or pushing it to the absolute limit at all.
No. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, Sam, just go easy today. Oh, yeah, I'll go easy. And then he's right out of front, I'm like, what the hell? Why do you have so many crowns, KOMs? He's like, no, Laura, it was easy. Okay.
Like, right.
Yeah.
Well,
he's like, well, so-and-so was there. Sorry. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of you and your partner, Sam Long there, you guys have had a bit of a life shift recently with a new addition to the family there. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and kind of how that transition has been?
Oh, yeah. Little Leonardo. No, he's been great. Of course, it was a shock, but that's okay. Like, we knew we wanted to be together. I've always wanted kids. It just, I don't know if I was prepared quite yet, but they say that you're never really ready. So I guess God was just like, here you go, Laura. Yeah. And I would say, so I work with, I don't want to call him like I guess he's like a mental coach type person. And Sam actually started working with him as well. But anyways, him and I did a lot of work in the beginning when I found out I was pregnant to make sure that I was like in alignment with it, because I felt like in the beginning I was fighting it a lot because I had just gotten super, super fit for Indian Wells. We found out like 4 days before that race that I was pregnant, because I was, let's see, I would say, so 2 weeks before the race, I was like, wow, I'm feeling so good. My training was going really well, but I was having really weird cravings. And Sam's like, oh, that's normal. Like, sometimes you want chicken fingers or soda, if you're like training really hard, and we never eat like that. And I was like, oh, okay. And then a couple of days later, I was like, oh, like my boobs are kind of hurting. And Sam's like, oh yeah, that's definitely not part of training. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I don't think so. And so then I was like, oh, okay, I better take a test. And so, yeah, anyways, found out, and, it was good news and kind of a little sad because like I said, I'd been working really hard for Indian Wells. But then it was cool because at that race, as much as I kind of like wasn't really in it, I was like, this is such a cool moment that Sam, me, and our baby are like in the same race at the same time, right? So did that race and then took a little bit of an off season and just kind of, I think in the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm going to get right back into shape after I have the baby and it's going to be no problem. And, when I was pregnant, I was like, okay, I'm going to work out and, things are going to be great and it's going to be super easy. And then life hits you and it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't quite work like that. So I would say probably around 5 or 6 months, I decided to stop biking. I just kind of started getting uncomfortable. And then I just kind of like, I decided, Sam, just stop coaching me. Let me just feel what I feel each day. And if I feel like going for a run, I'll go for a run. If I want to go lift weights, I'll go lift weights. And the more people I actually talked to, they said that the smarter they were during their pregnancy, the better the recovery and the comeback was. Because I think a lot of athletes, we get so stubborn and we're like, okay, I can't rest on the couch or like I can't, not run for a week because then I'm going to be so far behind. And I was definitely like that in the beginning. And then finally I was able to just surrender. And I'm like, okay, just, be in the moment of being pregnant. And I, knock on wood, I had a very easy pregnancy. I wasn't sick. I didn't have any issues. I was able to just kind of go through life as normal. I think one regret that I have is that I was still living the life of being a pro triathlete. So like kind of like sitting on the couch a lot, watching Netflix, didn't really go out, didn't really, mingle with friends, like, just kind of hung out with Sam, just our normal day-to-day life. And I wish that I would have enjoyed myself more while I was pregnant because I don't think, especially as a first time mom, like we don't realize how much our life is actually taken away when we have a baby. I don't know if that's the right word, but like your freedom is gone. You can't just say, I'm going to go get my nails done, right now, or I'm going to go do this. It's like my entire day revolves around Sam or, if my dad is here to come help or what, we don't use daycare or anything, but I have to rely on other people if I want to go do something. And so I wish that I would have, even gone to visit my friends in California or just kind of enjoyed myself a little bit more. That's probably the biggest advice I can give. And then Leonardo came out and Sam left for a race 24 hours later to Milwaukee, which he was just like, I'm not leaving until his baby comes out. And it was like down to the wire. And the PTO was like, are you coming? And he's like, yes, I'm coming. He's here. And then came home after that race. And, I was alone for the first, I would say like 2 months, because then he went to Singapore, he went to Finland. That was pretty hard on me just because, your hormones are all wacky. You're not sleeping, which I was used to sleeping like 10 hours a night. And I remember the first couple of nights, I'm like, what the heck is happening? Like, Mom, is this normal? She's like, oh yeah. You don't really know. Like, but until it happens, you're like, oh, it can't be that bad.
Famous last
yeah,
word.
I know. So yeah, the first 2 months were pretty rough. I just struggled because I felt like I was missing out and I wanted to be at races and I was like, oh, I really want to go out and train. But I was very determined that the first 2 weeks after Leo was born, I wasn't going to do any training. And I said, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm going to let my mom help me as much as I can. I was looking up all these like recipes to help with healing. And I think that was probably the best thing that I could have done, because after that, I slowly started walking and slowly started doing things. And I have had the easiest recovery as well. I mean, I've had no problems with, I've heard girls like peeing their pants all the time or, having all these issues. And I've had the easiest recovery. So yeah, I don't know.
I think a lot of that too is just staying active throughout your pregnancy because, well,
Totally.
especially your pants thing, you got constant pressure on the bladder, so you're kind of forced to
Yeah.
develop those muscles anyways. But I
Yeah.
found myself, I had a really easy pregnancy until I had to stop training for like 3 weeks because I like hurt my ankle.
Okay.
And then I
Oh,
became miserable in the pregnancy. I got all the symptoms at once. And then I could start training again and just like not training, but moving regularly
yes,
kind of thing. And it all
totally,
went away.
totally.
I think that definitely helps. Just not training. Training is probably the wrong word, but just kind of moving and staying active and listening to your body in that way too.
Yeah, and it's like kind of risk reward because I remember I swam until the day he was born. And I remember like around 5 months, I was like, oh, I don't know if I should keep doing flip turns. And then I would talk to some people and they'd be like, oh, it's not a big deal. And then some people be like, well, like the cord can get around their neck or they can flip over. And I'm like, really, Laura, is it, worth doing flip turns so you go 2 seconds faster? Probably not, So like a lot of that I had to be like, is it really worth it? No, just enjoy being pregnant and, whatever happens, happens after.
No, absolutely. Well, now that you've kind of, how old is he now?
He's 7 months.
7 months. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, it flies by
Those
too.
first years fly by.
I'm
It's,
like, what
yeah,
in the world? And then they
right?
start doing all these things, and you're like, when did you learn how to do that?
All the developmental leaps are always fun. You're just like, okay,
Yeah,
they're rolling. And then you're like, oh, it'll be so fun when they start walking. You're like, okay, slow down, stop walking.
yeah. Hold
Chase
on, I
me all
gotta rest for a second. Yeah,
over.
yeah.
You got a few months left before that happens, and then it's game
Oh
over.
man, we already
Oh,
started swim lessons, so he's been doing that.
That's
safety in the
awesome.
Yeah,
water,
yeah.
always a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Who's he
So
chasing in the
now,
water? You or Dad?
uh,
Probably more dad. No, he's just learning, like how to float on their back and blow bubbles, go underwater, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
all that good stuff. So,
Yeah.
how does your life look as a pro triathlete now? Like, do you have plans to get back into racing? Are you back training again? What does that look like?
Yeah. So, when I was pregnant, I had this big vision that I was going to have this like awesome comeback. And, they say like moms are so much stronger when they come back and whatever. And so I said, okay, like I'm going to enjoy the pregnancy and then, slowly we're going to get back into training. Well, I forgot that like I have a baby. He doesn't sleep. I'm breastfeeding. So I don't know where that vision came from. But so the first couple months I would say were really, really hard because I couldn't
Mhm.
find time to train. I was raw. He was a difficult baby in the beginning. Like he would take 30-minute naps. I'd spend 2 hours trying to rock him down. And then you put him down to sleep, they're fast asleep. And then the moment you put him down, they're like, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah. And so, it was hard because Um, Sam and we decided to sleep in separate rooms for the first couple months just because, like, again, he was racing. You can't do our job hungover and you can't do our job tired, and so he needed the sleep. And so I did all the nights by myself. I did the daytime pretty much by myself. I mean, when he would come home from training though, like he was hands on. He's like, hey, go take a shower, or go have some time for yourself and help cook dinner, stuff like that. And then we were very fortunate that my grandmother from Italy was here and she helped us for the first couple months as well. And then, my mom would come back and forth. She lives in California. So I slowly started getting back into training. I'd say maybe like an hour a day. And then as maybe like around 4 months, I was able to do like an hour and a half here and there, splitting. Let's say I did the trainer for 30 minutes. And then if I had time in the afternoon, I'd try and do another 30 minutes just so at least I'm getting time. But then I think around like 5.5 months, I just kind of thought to myself, it's like, okay, Sam, I think he was ranked like fifth in the world at the time. Yeah, like last year at the end of the PTO, and he was like the second American. And I said, I would rather, and it's not like I had any chance of being a top triathlete or, one of these top women. I knew that. And so as much as I love the sport, I said I would rather like raise my son and be a part of his life and help Sam to be number one if we can get him there, right? And do everything I can to take care of him and make sure that like, he's has as a stress-free life as possible. And so we kind of like made that pack, and I basically do all the agent work, and then, prep meals and stuff like that and take care of Leo. And Leo now sleeps 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. He sleeps pretty much all night. So now I'm able to actually like get on the trainer and, do 2 hours of riding. And if Sam comes home and he's got a break, he's like, hey, just go to the gym real quick, or like go for a swim or go for a run. So I am able to actually train a little bit more, but not enough to like be competitive as a pro. Maybe down the road I'll be able to do that again, but I've kind of made my peace with like, okay, things are different. And I think it's really cool that Sam can make enough money to be able to provide for me to be able to stay home and, like I said, be a part of Leo's life. I don't have to take him to daycare. I see this stuff on Instagram. These babies are at daycare at like 2 months. And I'm like, what? I can't even imagine. So I just feel very grateful for that. And it's like, okay, if I can help Sam as best as I can, and that we can continue to build this empire and, build him up, I'd just rather do that. But I am still training kind of. So maybe down the road. But then Sam the other day is like, okay, so we're going to have another kid. I'm like, what? Pump the brakes, buddy.
The first year before.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. How about you carry the kid this time?
Right?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And that's what we've actually seen a lot of in triathlon is just the people are kind of performing at the very top have that partner, that spouse, that person kind of backing them up, doing the agent stuff so they don't have to deal with that stress, kind of helping them out more at home and just making things a little less stressful. So it's definitely a team effort, it looks like, for some of the top in the world, because having a baby is a full-time job in itself.
Oh yeah.
It is.
It is. And it's like, it's funny because I've talked to a couple of people, and I don't know, sometimes I get like a weird vibe from people when you're like, oh yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom, because they're like, oh, what do you do? And they're like, oh, basically like, oh, you just sit on the couch all day. And it's like, yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. I'm actually the cleaner, the cook, the driver.
And as agent,
so,
have it.
Yeah, so I think that's been like a little difficult. I mean, people are pretty supportive, but like, yeah, it's weird. It's such a, I think it's just because like people are just so strong about women like having these careers and, doing all these things. And I think that's awesome. But I also think that like being a stay-at-home mom is a very big job as well. And I wish that, there was more support towards that. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you keep doing you keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you do have a little bit more of a public life than some others do. So
yeah,
you're going to hear or see some of the other comments, but just keep doing what you're doing because it's working for the two of you. And look, your partner's off racing the top 20 guys in the world right now.
Totally.
And that's, I mean, and you start to, and Paula and Jenna brought it up a little bit too. I mean, you got Eric Lagerstrom just kind of decided to like, hey, let's let Paula go do her thing, and I'm going to back off a little bit too, and be the agent and the YouTube guy and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
You see him really planning the pro racing like he used to. So maybe you'll get into next era with Eric.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean, exactly. It's like, if you have your partner that's up there, it's like, why not help them? And I really. Like Sam has grown so much and changed so much that I don't know if it's like part of being a dad now, but like I really feel so confident that he really has a chance to, dominate the PTO. And it's like, if I can help him do that, like what an awesome accomplishment, right?
Yeah, and it's good for the whole family if he does well there too. But speaking of the PTO, there's a little race going on this weekend, so we've heard.
Yes.
First one of the T100 series now happening over in Miami, and that's actually something that you've raced before. So we want to see if we could get a little insight into that course and kind of what it's like to race over there.
Okay, so that course, actually, now that I remember, when I raced that course, I think like 3 women ended up in the hospital. because it's so hot in that stadium. I'm pretty sure like Emma, Chelsea Sodaro, and there was like some other person. They were just like
Seems like
passing
it's
out.
dropping like this. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I mean, it's a great course though, because like I said, it's all together right there. You know, you swim in the lake. The lake's kind of murky and gross, but you hop out onto the driveway, and it's cool. Like you're on the racetrack. It's very technical in the inside. Have you guys done it or
Haven't done
No.
it, but
no?
yeah, just watched it.
Okay. So it's super technical on the inside, and then you kind of go out on the racetrack a little bit. It's a great course for Sam because he's so good with the technical that I know that that's where he can make up a lot of time. A lot of these
Yeah.
guys, like they're good on the straightaway and, you know, not having to get out of arrow, but like Sam can boom, 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 you know, through everything. And then the run is quite boring, I would say. I mean, you get fans for maybe like 200 meters, and then you go out and you go around the stadium, and it is just like these big walls. It's hot. The surface is black, and you're just running out there. No music, no fans, no nothing. So that part's like a little rough. But what's awesome is usually we would race on a Friday, and now the PTO race is on a Saturday. So hopefully that brings like more people out there. I was talking to Sam earlier, and he was saying that in the pro meeting, that they were like, oh yeah, so on the bike, you know, you guys bring your own water and nutrition. We're not really going to have aid stations. Like we'll have one, but you know, you probably won't need it. And Sam's like, he's like, yeah, I had to raise my hand and be like, we're racing at 1:00. It's like 80% humidity. It's like 80, which is almost like 95 in there, to be honest, with the black surface. And he's like, yeah, we're going to need water just to like pour on us. And they're like, oh, okay. So hopefully they had to add actually during the women's race, on the second lap after like 3 people had passed out, they added aid stations like during the race because they had one aid station, and you think for 1.5 miles that's enough, but not in that
And those
stadium. I
stations.
mean, no way, like no chance. The women I think go at 5, so hopefully it's a little bit better. But at 1:00, I mean, they're gonna have to provide a lot of water.
The woman will be finishing in the dark, so that'll be neat.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still gonna be hot, but not the same as the midday race. And man, welcome to the T100. You got to do this on your own, guys.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have the sun like blazing on you. Sam's like, yeah, we're gonna need some water.
So how I've heard a bunch of people talk about this. Like you think about racetrack and you're like, oh, it's just going around and around. But it sounds like it gets pretty technical in the corners and in the turns, and you're actually getting on your brakes, and you might not be able to see narrow and things. So it is a pretty difficult race.
Super technical course. So I think Daytona, they just did the outside of the oval, but like for this one, you have 2 straightaways on the outside, but when you go on the inside, I mean, it is like a sharp left turn, sharp right turn, small straightaway, sharp right turn, and then sharp left. But you're like going pretty fast. And so I think actually Lionel crashed there last year going through that last turn because I mean, if you don't know how to, I'm not saying like he's a great bike handler, but you really got to like be on top of your stuff. And I think you have a huge advantage if you know the course quite well. I mean, I know they rode it today, but like if you've had experience there, you have a huge advantage because until like I would say lap 10 maybe, you don't really get the flow. And when it was Clash, it was like 17 laps. So basically you've lost time trying to figure it out. You know, you're in and out of the brakes, in and out of the handles. I think this race is like 22 laps on the bike. So he has quite some time to be able to make up time. But yes, it's very technical on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have the race ranger, sorry. You know, and so what's great is like, you know, in those turns and everything, I mean, if you're coming close onto somebody, you know, you have to brake even more because those, I don't know how it's going to work with penalties if it like lights up or how that all works, but it's totally different.
Mm-hmm. And that'll be so good to see because I think in the past there's a lot of bunching up around those areas too. Like people just kind of push it to the limit in there, but Yeah, Race Ranger, they won't be giving out penalties with it yet. Hopefully it'll get to that
Okay.
point, but it'll at least show you that you are in that
So will
zone.
they just see, they can basically see like who spent the most time in the draft. That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
right
Okay.
now they're not using that information so much. It's more just
Got it.
to alert the athletes that they're within that zone, but they can see
Oh,
all the
okay.
data and they're kind of making sure to the race organizer it's known who's spending so much time within like 2 meters of the person in front of them. But you
Got
have
it.
no
Got it.
excuses to some of the pro athletes.
Right.
Like, now if you're at 20 meters or not, because it'll tell you in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
little. But hopefully down the line, it'll get to the point where they can use it to referee a little bit more. But for now, it's still the ref on the moto has to give you the flag and see
Okay.
it
He has
happening.
to say it. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Got
But
it.
it's great to see that they are using it because, especially in Sam's case, like he's a super strong cyclist, and it's definitely to
Yeah.
his advantage to have everyone playing fair out there with
Yeah.
that.
No, totally.
How
I
do you
think it'll
see
be
it
great.
going, like, tactically because of that? And because you've got the 22 laps and things like that, do you think somebody like Magnus, or whoever's out on the swim earlier and an Uber biker, are we going to see it right away? Or do you think they're going to kind of like let it be more of like a draft race and then somebody's going to surge after 10 laps or so? Or do you think they're going to go right away?
Okay, so I love Magnus and he's awesome. He's always struggled in Miami at this race. So I'm like, I don't know how he'll do, and I don't like it's the first race of the season, so I don't know if a lot of people are kind of like still building, their engines up for the whole season because it's early. But I feel that Sam's swim is in a really good place right now. And so hopefully, I know there's a couple guys that he's going to try and make at least that pack. And then last year, towards the end of the bike, he was actually making up time, but it wasn't enough laps to make up enough time to get enough of a gap, I feel. So I feel now with 22 laps, I'm hoping that, that's going to help him get a little bit more of a gap on these people. And then, he's such a strong cyclist that if guys want to go with him, and especially if they have this draft thing going on, they're not going to be able to be close. And, maybe it'll help blow some matches. I don't really know. Of course I'm going to root for him. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, Sam, you can do this. But yeah, I mean, I think he's in a really good place. I really do think that this course is going to favor him a lot. That's why I'm like, I got to fly to Miami. Like, I feel good about this race, but the flights are horrible. I'm like, if he was only a little bit closer, it'd be so easy. Yeah.
Right? Oh my goodness. Now, you don't have to
But
say if you don't want to, but is there anyone
yeah,
that he kind of sees as his biggest, I guess, challenge at this race, or the person he's going to be up against?
I've asked him that, and it's not that I don't want to tell you, but he is just like, I'm just focused on myself.
Do you
I
think?
mean,
Yeah.
his mentality is so different. He's just like, I don't really care what anybody else is doing. He's worked really hard too, like on the swim. I know in previous races, when he would see that gap forming and he'd start getting so far behind, he'd be like in his head, oh man, like I'm losing, like I suck, this sucks. And it would just be so negative. And now he's like, oh no, like it's fine. If I'm a minute behind or a minute and a half, no problem. I'm just going to do this. And they're great swimmers, but I know that I'm a great cyclist and runner. And I mean, it's just so different. And so I really hope
Good.
that it's going to be able to play out into the races.
Oh, that'd be
So
good to
no,
see it.
to answer your question, I don't, not that he's really mentioned. I mean, Jason West had a phenomenal race at Miami last year. I mean, his run was like, I think his last mile was like 4 something.
Yeah. See him
Yeah.
charging
So
the field.
yeah, I mean, so I don't really know. I don't know.
How was
No, it
the
seems
swim
like that's
event
the best
last week?
chance.
Speaking of the swim and Sam and Lionel and those guys, how was the race last weekend?
Well, so Lionel's wife and I have become like really good friends, especially because they live half a mile from our house. Their
Oh, really?
baby's like 4 months ahead of us. So like she helps me with a bunch of that stuff. And at the race we were like, oh shit, like we gotta be on separate sides of the pool
Oh,
now. And we were thinking about getting these like shirts that's like half Lionel, half Sam, house divided. Because we like not force them, but in the beginning we kind of started making them hang out because I was like, okay, like let's hang out with Aaron, and he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, like we're going to Lionel's house, and then so they've like become friends as well. So now it's totally fine. But before the race, we went to like Mexican food, I think a couple days before, and they're like, oh man, like let's bet on this, $100 on the line, and Lionel gets all fired up and everyone's all excited, and so we show up to the race and Sam taking his caffeine and he's like, yeah, I'm ready. And I mean, he had a great race, he paced it very well. He was right there. So they're so opposite. So Sam is like a really good starter and has a strong front, but Lionel, I mean, man, he can reel it in. So he comes out of nowhere strong and just like boom right past Sam. I'm like, hurry up, Sam, like let's go. But it was fun. I mean, all like fun and games. It's no big deal, and they're very encouraging. And so after, he's like, "Okay, man, like here's your $100." And Lionel's like, "No, I don't want to take your money." He's like, "No, a deal's a deal. Like here you go." But they're always trying to help each other and support, and they swim together every once in a while and run together. And and there's like, I think Sam might be doing St. George, and Aaron and I were like, so can we all stay together in Airbnb? And they're like, no, that's pushing it. So
Just a
yeah.
little too close to comfort with the competition
Yeah,
there.
yeah. They're like, no, I don't think so. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we won't keep you too long. I know you got a busy life over there with baby and everything, but was there anything else that you wanted to mention before we let you go here?
Not really. I mean, I hope to see you guys at races, and it's always fun like seeing all the fans, and we're always like thankful for all the support, and I'm really looking forward to what unfolds this season. I think it's going to be quite interesting with the PTO, and I know a lot of people are trying to balance doing Kona and Ironman and the PTO, and everyone has like a different strategy and race schedule. So I'm just curious how people are gonna, like what's gonna happen, right? There's so many races and everyone's like trying to do everything. And I told Sam, I said, don't get greedy. Like just focus on what you can focus on. And if an Ironman race opens and you can do it, great. If not, that's okay. I mean, just kind of focus on one thing. So yeah, that's it. We'll see.
We're all curious to see how it all plays out, and
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like your advice is perfect. Stick to your own lane. There's only one thing that you can control, and it sounds like he's ready to go based on his interview with Bob that I listened to today. And excited
Are you
for
guys
that.
gonna watch?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
We're junkies.
Okay.
As fans,
Okay.
we're spoiled this year with all of the racing. It's so good to see this high level racing more regularly. Like actually seeing some of the big names come up against each other more than once a year in Kona is awesome.
Oh, it's like a world championship every PTO race. I mean, the start line, you're like, what in the world? Yeah.
And this week
I'm
we got
excited.
all the lights and all the new bikes and all the new kits and
I know. Did you guys see Sam's new kit?
Love
what do you think?
Yeah.
quite the change.
I know. I was like, you can't go from flamingos to skulls. Like, can't we like have a medium area? No, this is how it goes. Okay.
I get the sense he doesn't do a lot of like in the middle.
It's like one extreme to the next. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know what?
So who do you have in the female race?
Well, I really love Emma. She's always been a really good friend, so I hope she has a great race. I'm not really sure, to be honest, because I heard that like I think there's like 12 wild cards. Like 12, a bunch of girls have, and then I saw Anne Hogg just dropped out. So, I really hope that Daniela Reef has a great, last season. I saw that she announced her retirement. So hopefully, this season goes great. I don't really know with the women who's good at this type of course. I mean, what do you guys think?
It will be interesting this weekend because you do have a lot of those wild cards. So it seems like a lot of people either are injured, backing out. There's some of them doing Abu Dhabi. I mean,
yeah.
So it will be interesting. I think. I mean, I listened to Daniela's interview with Bob as well. It sounds like she's ready to go. She's
fired up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That'd
Chelsea's
be the
not there
fairy
this
tale thing.
weekend. Lucy's
Yeah.
Taylor,
coming back off an injury.
Taylor
Uh,
Nibb's out. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Ashley
I don't
Jensen
know. So
missing, so yeah.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So it's kind and with the wild card, you don't really know a lot about them, and so they can really throw off the race. You'll have this huge plan, and then it's just yeah. Who's the girls from Great Britain? It's Lucy. I know there's
Yeah.
another. Yeah, didn't she win last year? So I mean, she's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
so
yeah, I don't know. Or Ashley Gentle won last year. I think she was second.
And
Lucy
Ashley's
was.
not there this year.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not really sure.
it's fun. And you know what? That's fun going into races like this. Like we're early seasons, there's no one like dominating yet. Like
Yeah,
last year
totally.
it was cool to see Ashley Gentle do so well, but you kind of got to the point where like, okay, she's gonna win kind of thing. But
Yeah.
this year I think there's gonna be even more competition at that pointy end, which will make it just fascinating to see how it all goes down.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome.
So
Well, we will
be messaging.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to the big guy, because I mean, I'm always a fan of his. I just love the way he's always attacked the competition side of things, and at least he's not storming out of rooms mad at Sam Laidlaw anyway.
Yeah. No, they actually drove to the swim yesterday together. And I was like,
really?
oh, how's that? He's like, it was great. I'm like, oh, good.
He really has come along.
Oh, yeah. So it's good. It's quite good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we will stick all of your guys' social media, yours and Sam's, in the show notes there too. So people definitely go give them a follow. It's fun to watch the journey unfold. And other than that, we are going to be glued to I'd say TVs, but our streaming devices these days.
Yeah.
To all of the racing go down. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate the
guys.
insight. Have
Thank
a
you.
great evening.
Have a good one, Laura.
Okay, bye.